Hi, this is Dane Vinson, and tonight I'm at my home in Portland, Oregon on a beautiful summer evening, enjoying the world-famous Pilsner Urquell, great beer for a summer. I do quite a lot of exploratory programming, and I find myself in need of some kind of a client app for a lot of the back-end services I write. Back in the day, I would have wrote such a client app in a WinForms app, which makes it very easy to put together a client, get it up and running very quickly. But today, most of the services are REST, and WinForms apps aren't really tailored well for that. What you really want is something that runs out of a browser, an HTTP application, something that's JavaScript, HTML, CSS. There's plenty of frameworks to choose from that will build those kind of apps. Current popular ones are Angular, Aurelia, React, and those are all beautiful frameworks that I've used before, but they're often too heavyweight for the kind of apps that I want to write. If you just want a proof of concept or you're writing a small tool, you may not want something that is that large. To install, for example, an Angular app, you're going to be doing npm install. It's going to have dozens of dependencies that are brought in. It'll entail thousands of files. To run it, you're going to have to use some kind of a lightweight web server or dump it to a regular web server and compile it with something like Webpack. That's all a lot more heavyweight than what I would want to do for a lot of these client apps. So I went in search of something that was easier to use, that was harken more to the days of a WinForms app, or even when HTML5 first came out, things like Knockout or the original Angular 1, which is now Angular.js, which had very few dependencies and you could get up and running very quickly. So I went out and started looking for such a framework and pretty quickly came across Vue.js. So it's a pretty powerful framework. It allows you to do all the same kind of things that the modern application frameworks for JavaScript do. You know, you can build very large apps out of them and componentize them and all. But if you want something simple, it allows you to get up and running very quickly without a whole lot of effort. So I went and tried this out, and I'll show you the app that I put together using it just to show what's going on. So this I call the Vue to Do app. It's based on what I call stupid to do. It's just really kind of centered around something like Wonder List, that functionality. So you can create new to-dos. Awesome. And I can get rid of to-dos, or I can show the ones that are done. I can delete those ones completely. I can unto-do them. So yeah, it's reactive. It works pretty well. But the beauty of this is just how simple this is. And so I'm going to dive into this a little bit and show you how simple this is to write. So that entire application is in 2 files, and there is no compiling. This is just brought down with a couple of references. So I have Bootstrap and Font Awesome for style sheets and CSS frameworks just to make it look kind of nice. And the only other things that I had to do were 2 Vue.js packages or files that are hosted on a CDN, and the one app.js file that I'll show in just a moment. And that's it. So there's the main to-do or main Vue.js file, and then the second one gives you access to HTTP. And so this is the entire HTML file for it, and I'll go through it a little bit more and show you the Vue specific stuff here in just a second. And I'm going to show you the backend, which is the app.js. And this is the whole app.js file. I think it's about 130 lines of code. And they all have this kind of thing where I'm saying Vue. This is kind of like my Vue model. It's a new Vue, that's the type, and I'm marking it with the element of star app or bang app. And this is the data. These are like the properties that you can do the binding to, and these are the methods that you call and how they interact. And so, for example, here's a method to add to-dos, and it updates properties on a to-do and updates, here's an HTTP post that's using that HTTP framework. And so there's methods for each of the things that are on the screen, and you just reference them directly from the HTML file. And they've got a pretty nice syntax. Everything is v-on for example, v-on click. That's the click button, and I just call the method that's on my little Vue component, and that's what runs it. And so there's v-if, for example, and that works like what you'd think. If it's there, then it shows up, and if not, not. And so it's a pretty simple syntax to use, really easy to get used to. And again, what I like about it the most is that I don't really have to compile a lot of things. There is no npm install for this. It just runs. And in fact, the one I was just running, if you take a look here, it is running directly off of my C drive. I'm not even running an apps or a web server for this at all. I can just double click on the C drive and it'll run. So I'll show that real quick. And there it is. I'm just going to double click it, and there it is. The data is being pulled off of a web API I have hosted on Azure. It's just got static data in it. It'll eventually refresh and change, but you can do stuff with the data right now. Get rid of it. It'll hold until the next time. So anyway, it made everything pretty simple to develop, and I've been using this recently here to generate clients for quick tools and proof of concept applications, and it's been working out pretty nice. I haven't dove into it much deeper. I've looked at the documentation. You can definitely write much more complex applications, full-fledged applications, just like you would write in Angular. But you can also write really simple, quick applications, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So if you have need for that kind of thing, you might want to take a look at Vue.js. It's a pretty nice little framework. I have the stupid to do up on my GitHub if you want to take a look at it. There's some sources and some of the readmes, like the API here. I have an endpoint set up that's got the to-do, that's got that static data in it. You can tie to if you want. There's no authentication or anything on it. It's not going to do anything. So anyway, yeah, take a look at Vue.js if you have a need for the same kind of applications that I have. Thanks for watching.